I got a banger video for you today. We're talking about the pros and cons of living in the Kansas City Northland area. And stick around to the very end because I guarantee if you were looking to move up here, maybe you're from downtown or maybe you're from a different part of the country, you're going to want to know all of them. And I promise it'll be full of value. If this is your first time to my channel, let me introduce myself. I am Big Mike. I'm a local Kansas City real estate agent who has built his business off of YouTube. So feel free to reach out if you're moving to the area or you just like me and want to work with me. But let's go ahead and dive on in on the first pro we got going on. It's the money. How far your dollar stretches up here in the Northland. So let's say you're a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're a small family and you're not looking to purchase such a massive house starting off, or maybe you're moving to the area and you're just not at that point quite yet. So a first-time family home here is $300,000. That can get you a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, nice size yard. It really is going to be that entry-level house, and it is so prevalent. The biggest and most important part about finding this housing is what school district would you like to be in, because certain school districts have higher equity for housing involved. There's also a lot of different infrastructure going in over the Northland area, and that's going to be the most important thing is where would you like to live and where would you like to go after this house is done. So just kind of think about that future tense. I would definitely say more family oriented is the Northland. You get the bigger yards, you get the bigger houses, you get a lot more kids involved. If you're maybe in the college era or maybe a lot younger, you probably want to stay downtown. That's where all the life night is. The nightlife, all the different restaurants, all the different college era areas. And on top of that, you have a lot more downtown transportation, which we'll kind of dive in here very shortly. And with that being said, one of the cons is kind of with you being up in the Northland, the commute to Kansas City is going to be a little bit larger. So downtown Kansas City is the most prevalent for jobs. And on top of that, there's a lot of traveling around the city involved. So if you are living up in the Northland, you're going to have to account for that. You're going to have a car. There's not a lot of downtown oriented traffic, and that makes it a little bit more difficult than just staying downtown. If you're living in a place like Parkville or Liberty, you're probably about 20 minutes dealing with traffic, maybe 30 minutes dealing with traffic to get to downtown during rush hour times. If traffic really is a deterrent for you up here in the Northland, I'd suggest Briarcliff area. Briarcliff area is an area just outside Riverside. Riverside would be another one. And you're maybe about 10 minutes from downtown compared to like the 20 to 30 minutes from Liberty to Parkville areas. But it's an exchange. You get a little bit, your dollar stretches more, and you make up for it for travel times. Now, a pro. Suburban lifestyle, it's a lot slower. There's not a bunch of honking horns all the time. There's not a bunch of traffic all the time. There's not a lot of yelling all the time. There's not a lot of just random noise outside, possibly an apartment window or your downtown style of home. So you do get such a quieter style of home. Northland here is really known for just having safer areas, and it just makes peace of mind really come to the forefront if that was something important to you, where neighborhood pools have lifeguards. There's so much more safety involved. Everything's just a lot more slower pace. It's just a lot more family friendly oriented when you go to like suburbia, suburban areas, neighborhoods, things of that nature. A lot more families really watch out for one another up there. So if you're done with the city noise, man, come check out Kansas City Northland, for real. Now, one of the cons for up here in the Northland, you absolutely have to have a car. You have to have a car to get to possibly the public transportation. There's just not a lot of public transportation options up here. So no matter what, you're going to have to get a car. You're going to have to rely on Uber. Uber is pretty heavy here. You could go Lyft or taxi style, but strongly suggest if that is something important to you, maybe you come from a place like New York where you don't need a car necessarily. You will need one up here in the Kansas City Northland area. You're talking 20 to 30 minutes. That's a long walk if you wanted to walk downtown every single day, or it gets basically like a car payment worth of traveling every single day. Let's say you do an Uber every day. So just to give you perspective, it's about $20 Uber ride will get you about anywhere 20, 30 bucks. So if you do the math, if you do that 20 times, it's $400 a month, which could easily go towards a car payment. So really something that you really need to think about, put on the forefront. If you do want the Northland and you want all the property equity values, you're going to have a car. Now, one of the pros, We have a lot of parks up here. You could talk about Line Creek Park where you can get some hiking and some biking done, or maybe English Landing. Once again, you could do some biking. Beautiful, overlooks the Missouri River. It has nice little playground. It's over in Parkville area. And then let's say all around Smithville Lake, you can do some boating up there. And on top of that, there's just trails galore. There's also a little beach up there. So just to give you perspective that you're not going to find in downtown, you're not going to find that much going on down there. There's a few parks here and there, but nothing like what the Northland has to offer. We really cater to that active, healthy lifestyle up here. On top of that, if you're like me, or maybe maybe you're not like me, one of the two, maybe you're good at golf, which I am not. We actually have some amazing golf courses up here. There's many up here actually, but let's just go ahead and name off the two really nice ones. We can talk about Shoal Creek Golf Course up here. It's actually just outside Liberty. And then I would say the number 2 one in this area is probably Tiffany Greens. It's just to the east of the airport on the north side of Kansas City. Just probably the 2 major golf courses. There's also Shiloh Springs up in Platte City. Excelsior Springs Golf Course is a gorgeous one. Lathrop's has a nice one. Kearney has a nice one. Just a few of the golf courses up here, and I'm not good at golf whatsoever, but I go for a good time, and so far I've never disappointed. So I'm great at experiencing every inch of the fairway and most of the course actually. Now, one of the cons, a con we have is we don't have as many dining spots as we do downtown. So if you are into like nightlife, we don't have a lot of clubs, we don't have a lot of bars compared to what downtown has to offer. Same with the restaurants. I mean, there are so many active restaurants downtown. If you were ever wanting to explore, I would definitely suggest going downtown. Outside of Zona Rosa and a few other places, that's just kind of the main shopping up here in the Northland. It's just not as prevalent as it is downtown. I mean, there's so many spots downtown where you kind of escape that area when you come up to the suburbs. We kind of have the bare essentials. Anything you can possibly desire is up here. But when you start getting into those more specialty style of places, it's just the Northland doesn't have it. So it is a con. Pro going on, schools. So we have some amazing schools up here. We're talking about Liberty School District. We could talk about North Kansas City School District. More importantly, Staley High School. And then the school I actually graduated from was Park Hill School District, Park Hill South. Those are the 3 really major school districts around here. Platte County is a good school district. Smithville is a good school district. And the same with Kearney is a good school district. But outside of that, when you start to get to the inner city, the Northland side definitely has a higher level school district. Number 1 school district in the area is over in Lee Summit. But this video is just about the Northland only. All phenomenal school districts. And if you look them up per state, they're at the top of the list. So the only other side would be like St. Louis. St. Louis has some great school districts, but to give you perspective, phenomenal school districts over here in the Northland. Now, we were kind of discussing earlier about the limited shopping, but to really hit it is you're probably about 20 minutes any direction to get into the really good shopping that you want to do. Maybe you want some specialty foods, products. Maybe you want to hit some specialty restaurants. Maybe you want to hit some specialty shoes or purses or handbags or heck, you name it. There's so many different stores. I mean, I know there's Lululemon on the plaza. That's where all the good steakhouses are. Now, if you really want to get into all the good shopping, yeah, Northland doesn't have it. So you're going to end up leaning towards probably Leawood, Overland Park, Plaza, more south areas. And I mean, if you're living up in Liberty, you're probably about 30 to 40 minutes away from being able to reach those spots. So if that is something important to you, that's where you're going to have to be. Like, we have the bare essentials up here. You can go buy some nice shoes from maybe Dick's. There's Ross spots. Zona Rosa has a few spots for shoes, hats. But when you start getting into more specialty, the Plaza and Leawood areas, I mean, there's Lululemon on the Plaza. There's a bunch of steakhouses on the Plaza. All the specialty clothing stores you could possibly think of, probably at the Plaza or Leawood or Overland Park. It's just dependent on what you want. But once again, you exchange a lot when you're living up here in the Northland. So if that is something important to you, call up Amazon. Amazon delivers, normally free if you have Prime. So just something to kind of think about. So yeah, you can't just go, or if you don't want to drive 30 minutes, you can't just go around you up here in the Northland and find whatever specialty item it is. but Amazon's pretty prevalent up here. I feel like I see a truck 2 to 3 times a day at least. And that's it. That's a nice little quick end cap for the pros and cons of living in the Kansas City Northland. There's nothing major up here. We're a lot slower up here, definitely. I survive very fine. I have all the clothes that I possibly need. I have all the food that I possibly need. I have everything I possibly need up here. And those rare few times that I do have to maybe get specialty shoots created or whatever the case may be, I do go downtown for those more specialty shops, but there's so few and far in between, justifies the expense of saving from living downtown to living up here in the Northland. And just to once again to remind you, I'm Big Mike. I'm a local Kansas City real estate agent. If you loved me or maybe you want to do business with me, feel free to reach out. I'll go ahead and drop my information right here. Feel free to reach out night or day. Best way you can get a hold of me is through text, and I'll get a hold of you back as soon as I can. So, as always, I love the fact when people like the video. I just ask that you like it so I can be discovered by many others. But as far as I go right now, Big Mike is out.